The winter wind cut through the mountains like a blade. Daewon pulled his coat tighter as he walked through the snow. He lived alone in a cabin far from any city. He liked it that way. No people meant no questions about his past. He was heading back from the supply station when he saw it. A streak of fire crossed the sky, too low and too fast to be normal. It crashed into the frozen lake a mile from his cabin. The sound echoed through the valley like thunder. Daewon stopped walking. Every instinct told him to ignore it and go home. He had left his old life behind for a reason. He was a rescue specialist once, leading a military team. They all died because of his mistake. He swore he would never be responsible for anyone again, but his feet moved anyway. He found himself running toward the lake. The ice had cracked where the ship hit. Smoke rose from the water. The vessel was small, maybe the size of a car. It was made of metal he had never seen before, silver and blue, still glowing hot in places. Daewon grabbed his emergency kit from his backpack. He tested the ice carefully. It held his weight. He moved closer to the crashed ship. The hull had split open. Inside, he could see two figures. His heart pounded as he pulled the metal apart with his gloved hands. The first person he reached was an adult wearing strange armor. She was dying. Purple blood leaked from wounds across her chest. The alien woman grabbed his arm with surprising strength. Her eyes were large and golden, filled with panic. She touched a device on her neck, and suddenly he could understand her words. "Please," she gasped. "The child. Save the child." Daewon looked past her. A small figure lay strapped into a seat, unconscious but breathing. The child looked almost human, with pale blue skin and white hair. She was maybe 5 years old. "Who is she?" Daewon asked. The woman pressed something into his hand. A medallion, heavy and cold. "Princess Nari, daughter of Queen Hiri. They tried to kill her. You must protect her, please." The woman's hand fell. Her golden eyes went empty. She was gone. Daewon stared at the medallion. It showed a symbol like a star inside a circle. He had no idea what it meant, but he understood one thing. This child was important. He unstrapped the girl from her seat. She was light, too light. He could feel her heartbeat faster than a human's. There was a cut on her forehead and burns on her arms. She needed help. As he lifted her, a light began flashing on the ship's control panel, red and urgent. Daewon recognized a distress beacon when he saw one. Someone would come looking for this ship. Maybe rescuers, maybe whoever tried to kill this child. He had to move fast. Daewon carried the girl across the ice and through the snow. His cabin was warm when he kicked the door open. He laid her on his bed and started working. He had medical training from his military days. He cleaned her wounds and bandaged them. Her skin was strange to touch, slightly cooler than human skin, but her body seemed to work the same way. The girl stirred. Her eyes opened. They were silver, bright as stars. She looked at him and screamed. Daewon raised his hands. "It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." She did not understand. She tried to climb away from him, but she was too weak. She cried out in a language he could not follow. Then he remembered. The translation device. He ran back to the crashed ship and pulled it from the dead woman's neck. When he returned, he placed it near the girl. "Can you understand me now?" he asked. The girl nodded slowly. Tears ran down her blue cheeks. "My name is Daewon. What's yours?" "Nari," she whispered. Her voice was small and afraid. "Where is Mika?" "She was with me." Daewon's throat tightened. "I'm sorry." "She didn't make it." Nari began to cry harder. Daewon did not know what to do. He was not good with children. He was not good with people anymore. But he sat next to her and let her cry. "Mika said bad people want to hurt me," Nari said between sobs. "She said we had to run. But they found us. They shot our ship." "You're safe now," Daewon said. He was not sure if it was true. "Are you a good person?" Nari asked. Her silver eyes looked into his. Daewon hesitated. He did not feel like a good person. "I'm trying to be." That seemed to satisfy her. She closed her eyes, exhausted. Within minutes, she was asleep. Daewon sat in his chair and stared at the medallion. A princess. He was hiding a princess in his cabin. This was insane. He should contact the authorities. Let them handle it, but something stopped him. The way that woman begged him. The fear in the child's eyes. And his own memories of failure, of people he could not save. Maybe he could save this one. 3 days passed. Nari's wounds began to heal, but then she got worse. Fever burned through her small body. She shook and cried out in her sleep. Daewon tried everything, but nothing worked. She needed real medical help, the kind he could not provide. On the third night, his sensors picked up something. Ships entering the atmosphere. Multiple signatures. Some were heading toward his location. Day one looked at Nari, unconscious and burning with fever. He had two choices. Stay and hope the right people found them, or run. He thought about his team. How he stayed in the safe position while they walked into the ambush. How he froze when they needed him to act. He would not freeze this time. Daewon packed supplies. Medicine, food, water, weapons. He wrapped Nari in warm blankets and lifted her into his arms. She weighed almost nothing. "I've got you," he whispered. "I won't let them take you." He left his cabin and headed into the deep wilderness. The mountains were dangerous, but he knew every trail and every hiding spot. He had been preparing to disappear for years. Now he had a reason to. Behind him, lights appeared in the sky. Ships landing near the lake. He did not look back. He just kept walking, carrying the alien princess into the frozen night. Whatever came next, he would face it. He made a promise to a dying woman. He would keep that promise even if it killed him. The old military bunker was exactly where Daewon remembered it. Hidden in the side of a mountain, covered by decades of moss and snow. He had to dig through ice to find the entrance, all while holding Nari against his chest with one arm. The door groaned as he forced it open. Inside was dark and cold, but it was shelter. More importantly, it was invisible to scanners. The bunker was built during old wars with thick walls designed to hide soldiers from detection. Daewon laid Nari on an old cot. Her fever had not broken. She mumbled words in her own language, calling for her mother. He wished he could help her, but all he could do was keep her warm and make her drink water. He found a working generator and got the lights on. The bunker had been abandoned for 50 years, but the basic system still functioned. Heat, water, and communications. Everything he needed. For 2 days, Daewon stayed awake. He watched Nari and listened to his radio scanner. The ships searching for them were everywhere. He heard them on the military channels, speaking in languages he did not recognize. But then he heard something else. A human voice broadcasting from the nearest settlement. "Attention, unknown forces. You are in Korean territory. State your intentions or leave immediately." A different voice answered, speaking perfect Korean. "We mean no harm. We are searching for a lost child. She was in a crashed ship 3 days ago. Her name is Nari. She is very important to us." Daewon listened carefully. The voice sounded female, calm but strained. "Worried?" "We have not seen any child," the human replied. "But we will help you search if you explain who you are." "I am Captain Mirai of the Veltheran Royal Fleet. The child is Princess Nari, daughter of Queen Hyeri. We believe there was an assassination attempt. We need to find her before the assassins do." Daewon's hand tightened on the radio. So the woman who died was telling the truth. This really was a princess, and someone important was looking for her. But how could he know if this captain was telling the truth? How could he know the assassins were not pretending to be rescuers? He looked at Nari. She was still unconscious, her breathing shallow. He was running out of time. The medicine from the crashed ship was almost gone. She needed help he could not give. Daewon made a decision. He changed the radio frequency to a civilian channel. He sent a message to the human settlement, speaking in Korean. "This is Daewon. I have the girl. Princess Nari, she is sick. She needs medical help, but I need proof that your captain is who she says she is. I need to know she will be safe." For a long moment there was silence. Then the radio crackled. "This is Captain Mirai. Thank you for protecting the princess. What proof do you need?" "Tell me something only her family would know," Daewon said. "Something personal." Another pause. Then a different voice came through the radio. This one was deeper, filled with authority and barely controlled emotion. "The princess has a birthmark on her left shoulder, shaped like a crescent moon. She is afraid of the dark but loves to watch the stars. Her favorite food is sweet berries from our homeworld. She calls them sky drops because she thinks they fall from the stars. The voice broke slightly. "She calls me Ioma, even in formal settings, because she forgets protocol when she is happy." Daewon looked at Nari's shoulder. He pulled back the bandage carefully. There it was. A small mark, darker blue than the rest of her skin, shaped like a crescent moon. "Who are you?" Daewon asked. "I am Queen Hyeri. That is my daughter you are protecting. Please let me see her." The emotion in her voice was real. Day-Wan had heard enough lies in his life to know truth when he heard it. I want a face-to-face meeting, he said. Neutral territory. I choose the location. You come alone with human witnesses present. No weapons. No tricks, agreed, the Queen said immediately. Where and when? Day-Wan gave her coordinates to a valley he knew well. Open ground where he could see anyone approaching. Tomorrow at noon. Bring medicine for her fever. She's getting worse. I will bring our best healers, Queen Hiri promised. And Day-Wan? Thank you. Thank you for keeping her alive. The radio went silent. Day-Wan looked at Nari. I hope I'm making the right choice, little one. The next morning, Nari woke up. Her fever had broken slightly, enough for her to open her eyes and look around. Where are we? She asked weakly. Somewhere safe, Day-Wan said. He helped her drink water. How do you feel? Bad, Nari admitted. Everything hurts. I want my Yama. I know, Day-Wan said gently. I talked to her last night. She's coming to get you. Nari's eyes went wide. Really, Yama is here? She will be soon. But we have to go meet her. Can you walk? Nari tried to stand, but her legs shook. Day-Wan caught her before she fell. It's okay, he said. I'll carry you. He wrapped her in blankets and lifted her into his arms. She was so small, so fragile. He could not believe she was a princess. She seemed like any frightened child. They traveled to the valley. Day-Wan moved carefully, watching for threats. He had his rifle ready, though he hoped he would not need it. When they reached the meeting point, people were already waiting. Human peacekeepers stood in a circle, their blue uniforms bright against the snow. In the center stood a woman. She was tall, with the same pale blue skin as Nari. Her hair was long and silver, braided with golden threads. She wore armor that seemed to glow with inner light. Her face was beautiful but hard like carved ice until she saw Nari. Then her face broke. All the ice melted away. She ran forward, and the peacekeepers had to scramble to stop her. Please, she said to them, her voice shaking. That's my daughter. Please let me go to her. The peacekeepers looked at Day-Wan. He nodded. Queen Hiri walked forward slowly, as if afraid Nari might disappear. Tears ran down her face. Nari, she whispered. Yama! Nari cried. She pushed against Day-Wan's arms, reaching for her mother. Day-Wan set her down carefully. Nari ran 3 steps before her mother caught her. Queen Hiri fell to her knees and pulled her daughter close, sobbing. Day-Wan turned away. This was a private moment. He started to walk back toward the trees. Wait, Queen Hiri called out. She stood, still holding Nari. Please stay. Day-Wan stopped. The Queen walked toward him, carrying Nari. Up close, he could see how exhausted she looked. How worried. She set Nari down but held her hand tightly. You saved her, Queen Hiri said. Her silver eyes looked into his. You protected her when no one else could. You asked for nothing. You risked everything. I just did what was right, Day-Wan said. No, the Queen said firmly. You did more than that. You gave me back my world. My daughter is everything to me. She placed her hand over her heart in what seemed to be a formal gesture. I owe you a debt. A life debt. By the laws of my people, you may ask anything of me. Wealth, land, position. Name it and it is yours. Day-Wan shook his head. I don't want anything, just make sure she's safe. That's enough, Queen Hiri stared at him. You truly want nothing? I want to go home, Day-Wan said simply. The Queen was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke words in her own language. Her guards and the human peacekeepers all went still, looking shocked. What did you say? Day-Wan asked. Queen Hiri smiled slightly. I said that you are bound to our house eternally. You are now guardian of the crown princess. By ancient law, you are part of our family. Wait, what? Day-Wan said. I didn't agree to that. You don't have to, the Queen said. I am declaring it. You proved yourself worthy. My daughter trusts you. I trust you, her voice softened. And I think you need us as much as we need you. I've learned about you, Day-Wan. I know about your team. I know you blame yourself, but you saved my daughter. You didn't freeze. You didn't fail. Let us give you a new purpose, Day-Wan wanted to argue, but Nari was looking up at him with those silver eyes, smiling despite her sickness. You'll come with us, right, Day? She asked. Please? He was trapped, and somehow he did not mind. Fine, he said, but just for a little while. Until I'm sure she's safe, Queen Hiri smiled. It was the smile of someone who had just won a battle. Of course, she said, just for a little while, but both of them knew she was lying. The Veltheran homeworld was nothing like Earth. Daiwan stared out the ship's window as they descended through purple clouds. Below, cities of crystal and light spread across the landscape. Towers reached toward the sky, connected by bridges that seemed to float in the air. Everything glowed with soft colors, blue and green and gold. "It's beautiful," Nari said from beside him. She had recovered quickly once the Veltheran healers treated her. Now she pressed her face against the window, excited to be home. "Yes," Daiwan agreed. "Beautiful and completely alien." He felt very far from his mountain cabin. Queen Hyeri stood behind them. She had barely left Nari's side since the reunion. "Welcome to Velthara," she said. "Your new home." "Temporary home," Daiwan corrected. The queen just smiled. The royal palace was even more impressive up close. It rose from the center of the capital city like a mountain made of light. Guards in silver armor lined the entrance. They saluted as the queen passed, but their eyes followed Daiwan with curiosity and suspicion. He was given quarters near Nari's rooms. The space was huge, bigger than his entire cabin. The walls showed images of space, stars moving slowly across them. The bed was soft enough to swallow him. Everything was strange and uncomfortable. That first night, he could not sleep. He walked out onto the balcony and looked at the alien sky. 3 moons hung above the city, each a different color. He had never felt so out of place. "Can't sleep either." Daiwan turned. Queen Hyeri stood in the doorway. She had changed from her armor into simpler clothes, though she still looked royal. Her silver hair hung loose around her shoulders. "The bed is too soft," Daiwan said. "The gravity is lighter here than on Earth," the queen said. "Your body will adjust." She joined him on the balcony. "Thank you again for coming. I know this is not easy for you." "Why did you really bring me here?" Daiwan asked. "You could have just paid me and sent me home." "Because Nari needs you," Hyeri said simply. "She was alone and terrified on Earth. You were the only one who made her feel safe. She still has nightmares about the attack, but when you're near, she sleeps peacefully. She has you now," Daiwan pointed out. "Her mother." "Yes," Hyeri agreed. "But I am the queen. I have duties that keep me away. I need someone I can trust absolutely to watch over her. Someone who has already proven they will die before they let her be harmed." Daiwan could not argue with that logic. "There is another reason," Hyeri continued. "The person who tried to kill Nari is still out there. Someone in my own court arranged that assassination. I don't know who yet. But I need someone watching my daughter who has no political connections. No reason to betray us. You are perfect." "Because I'm an outsider," Daiwan said. "Because you're honorable," Hyeri corrected. "That is rare, even among my own people." She left him alone on the balcony. Daiwan stared at the 3 moons and wondered what he had gotten himself into. The next morning, Nari woke him up by jumping on his bed. "Get up, Day. I want to show you everything." She dragged him through the palace, pointing out rooms and statues and gardens. She introduced him to servants who bowed nervously. She showed him the library with its floating books, the training grounds where soldiers practiced with weapons made of light, and the garden where plants from 100 worlds grew together. Daiwan could not help but smile at her enthusiasm. She was like any child showing off her home to a new friend, but not everyone was happy about his presence. During a formal dinner that evening, Daiwan met the royal court. Dozens of nobles in fine clothes, all staring at the human who sat at the queen's table. Next to Nari in a place of honor, one man in particular watched him with cold eyes. He was tall and handsome, his silver hair shorter than the queen's. He wore red and black, colors that seemed aggressive compared to the soft tones everyone else wore. "Lord Taiyang," Queen Hyeri said, noticing Daiwan's gaze. "My cousin. He manages the military forces." Lord Taiyang raised his glass to Daiwan. "Welcome, human. We are grateful for your service to the princess, though I admit I am surprised the queen has brought you into the palace. Surely your duty is complete." "Daiwan is Nari's bonded guardian now," Hyeri said firmly. "He stays as long as he wishes." "How unusual," Taiyang said. His smile did not reach his eyes. "To give such honor to an alien. Some might see it as inappropriate. Some might see it as justice," Hyeri replied coldly. "He succeeded where our own forces failed. Where were your soldiers when my daughter needed protection, cousin?" The table went silent. Taiyang's smile faded. "My soldiers died trying to reach her. The attackers were well prepared, almost as if they knew our security measures." The accusation hung in the air. Hyeri's eyes narrowed. "Are you suggesting something, Taiyang?" Only that we should investigate how the attackers knew so much, Taeyang said smoothly. Perhaps we have a traitor in the palace. He looked directly at Daewon as he said it. Daewon met his gaze calmly. He had dealt with men like this before, powerful, ambitious, dangerous, the kind who smiled while planning your death. Later that night, Nari asked Daewon to check her room before bed. I keep thinking the bad people will come back, she admitted quietly. Daewon checked under the bed in the closets on the balcony. All clear, he said. And I'm right next door. If anything scares you, you call for me. I'll be there in seconds, promise? Nari asked, promise. She hugged him before climbing into bed. I'm glad you're here, Dae. You make me feel brave. After she fell asleep, Daewon went back to his room. He was not surprised to find Queen Hyeri waiting for him. You saw it too, she said. Taeyang's hostility. He's the one, Daewon said. The one who tried to have Nari killed. I suspect the same, Hyeri said. But I have no proof. He's been careful. And he's powerful. Half the military answers to him. Then we need to be more careful, Daewon said. He's already trying to make the court suspicious of me. Next, he'll try to remove me completely. He won't dare, Hyeri said. You're under my protection. With respect, Your Majesty, your protection didn't save Nari the first time. The words were harsh but true. Hyeri flinched but nodded. You're right, which is why I need you. Taeyang won't expect a human to understand our politics, our tactics. Use that, watch him, learn his patterns. If he makes a move against Nari again, you'll be ready. And if he makes a move against me first? Daewon asked. Hyeri stepped closer. Her silver eyes were intense. Then I will destroy him, cousin or not. You are under my personal protection, Daewon. That is not just words. That is sacred law. Anyone who harms you harms me. She left before he could respond. Daewon sat on his too-soft bed and thought about impossible situations. He was a human on an alien world, caught in the middle of a royal power struggle. Lord Taeyang wanted him gone. The court saw him as an outsider, and Queen Hyeri had bound him to her family with laws he did not understand. He should leave. Take the first ship back to Earth and forget all of this. But then he thought of Nari's smile, her small hand holding his, the way she called him Dae like he was family. He thought of Queen Hyeri's gratitude, her trust, the way she looked at him like he mattered, and he knew he was not going anywhere, not yet, maybe not ever. Weeks passed in the palace. Daewon fell into a routine. Every morning he woke Nari and walked her to breakfast. He stayed near her during lessons with tutors. He trained with her when she practiced self-defense. At night he checked her room and told her stories of Earth until she fell asleep. The Veltherin nobles slowly grew used to seeing him. Some even began to nod politely when he passed. But Lord Taeyang remained hostile. He found small ways to make Daewon's life difficult. Servants forgot to bring him food. Guards accidentally blocked his path. Once, someone tampered with the gravity settings in his room, making him fall and bruise his shoulder. Daewon said nothing. He just watched and learned. Queen Hyeri was busy ruling her empire. She spent long hours in council meetings, settling disputes between planets, managing trade agreements, and coordinating military operations. But she always made time for Nari. And increasingly, she made time for Daewon too. They began having tea together in the evenings. At first they talked about Nari, about security, about the investigation into the assassination attempt. But slowly, the conversations became more personal. What was your life like before? Hyeri asked one evening. On Earth. Quiet, Daewon said. Lonely. I lived in the mountains, away from everyone. Because of your team, Hyeri said gently. The ones you lost. Daewon was surprised she knew. Yes, I understand guilt, Hyeri said. I am Queen of Billions. Every decision I make affects countless lives. Every mistake costs people I'll never meet. The weight of it never lessens. How do you bear it? Daewon asked. I remind myself that doing nothing would be worse, she said. That hiding from responsibility doesn't make it disappear. You know this too. You could have ignored Nari's crash, but you didn't. I'm not sure I made the right choice, Daewon admitted. Look where it brought me. I'm in a palace on an alien world caught in politics I don't understand with a man who wants me dead. And yet you stay, Hyeri said. Why? Daewon thought about it. Because Nari needs me, and because... He stopped. Because? Hyeri prompted. Because I don't feel lonely anymore, Daewon said quietly. Hiri looked at him with an expression he could not read. "Neither do I," she said finally. The moment stretched between them. Then a servant entered and the spell broke. But something had changed. One morning, Lord Taeyang invited Daewon to the training grounds. "I've heard humans are skilled fighters," Taeyang said with false friendliness. "I would be honored to test your abilities." It was a challenge. Daewon knew it was a trap, but refusing would make him look weak. "I accept." They faced each other in the practice ring. A crowd gathered to watch. Taeyang moved with liquid grace, his movements precise and deadly. He was clearly an expert. The match began. Taeyang struck first incredibly fast. Daewon barely dodged. The Veltherin fought like water, flowing and adaptive. Daewon fought like stone, solid and stubborn. They were evenly matched for several minutes. Then Taeyang began to use more strength. He was holding back before Daewon realized. Testing him. Now he wanted to hurt him. A kick caught Daewon in the ribs. He felt something crack. Pain shot through his side. But he did not fall. He had fought through worse. He caught Taeyang's next punch and twisted. The move was simple, brutal, nothing like the elegant Veltherin style. Taeyang hit the ground hard. Before he could rise, Daewon had him pinned. "Yield," Daewon said. Taeyang's eyes burned with rage, but he nodded. "I yield," the crowd murmured. Daewon released him and helped him stand. He offered his hand. Taeyang took it, but his grip was tight enough to hurt. "Well fought, human," Taeyang said loudly, then quieter, only for Daewon to hear. "You've made an enemy today." "I think I already had one," Daewon replied. That night, his ribs ached where Taeyang kicked him. Queen Hiri came to his room with a healer. "That was foolish," she said as the healer worked on his ribs. "Taeyang could have killed you." "But he didn't," Daewon said. "He wanted to humiliate me, not kill me, not yet. Too public." "Still," Hiri said. She looked worried. "I don't like this. He's getting bolder." "Let him," Daewon said. "Bold people make mistakes." After the healer left, Hiri stayed. "You're not just a bodyguard, are you?" she asked. "You're thinking like a soldier." "Like a tactician." "Old habits," Daewon said. "I led a team once. Before everything went wrong." "Tell me what happened," Hiri said. "Please," so he did. He told her about the mission, the intelligence that was wrong, the ambush, how he stayed in the safe position while his team went in, how they died one by one while he was too far away to help, how he froze when he should have acted. "I was the leader," Daewon said. "Their deaths were my responsibility. So I left. I couldn't lead anyone again. Couldn't trust myself. And now?" Hiri asked. "Now I guard one child instead of leading many soldiers," Daewon said. "Smaller responsibility. Less chance to fail." "You're wrong," Hiri said firmly. "You're not guarding just one child. You're protecting my heir. The future of our entire empire rests on Nari's shoulders one day. The responsibility you carry is enormous, and you haven't failed once." Daewon had not thought of it that way. "You're stronger than you believe," Hiri said. She reached out and took his hand. "I see it. Nari sees it. Everyone sees it except you." Her hand was warm in his. They sat in silence for a moment, neither pulling away. Then Nari's voice called from the next room. "Day, I had a bad dream." The moment broke. Hiri stood quickly. "Go to her. She needs you." Daewon went to Nari's room. She was sitting up in bed, crying. "There were bad men again. They took me away from you and Yama." "Just a dream," Daewon said. He sat on her bed. "Nothing is going to take you away." "I promise, but what if they try again?" Nari asked. "What if they hurt you?" "Then I'll fight them off," Daewon said. "I'm pretty tough. Did you see me beat Lord Taeyang today?" Nari nodded, smiling a little. "You were amazing." "Well, imagine how much harder I'll fight to protect you," Daewon said. Nari hugged him. "I love you, Day." The words hit him like a punch. This small alien child who had known him only weeks loved him, trusted him completely. "I love you too, little one," Daewon said, and he meant it. When Nari fell back asleep, Daewon returned to his room. Queen Hiri was still there, standing by the window. "She called you Day," Hiri said. "Not Mr. Daewon or Guardian, just Day like family." "Yes," Daewon said. "She's never been this close to anyone except me," Hiri said. "Not even her tutors or guards. But with you, she's open, happy. She trusts you completely." "I won't betray that trust," Daewon promised. "I know," Hiri said. She turned to face him. "That's why I declared you eternally bound to us. Not just because Nari needs you, but because, she paused, because I need you too. Day-One's heart beat faster. Your Majesty, Hieri, she said. When we're alone, call me Hieri. I'm tired of being queen every moment. With you, I can just be myself. Hieri, Day-One said carefully. What are you saying? I'm saying that I've come to care for you, she said. More than I should. More than is wise for a queen. But I can't help it. You've become important to me. Not just as Nari's guardian, as something more. Day-One stared at her. The queen of an empire, beautiful and powerful, was telling him she had feelings for him. It was impossible. I'm just a soldier, he said. A failed one. You're a queen. We're from different worlds, yes, Hieri agreed. But you make me feel safe. You make Nari feel loved. You ask nothing from me except to do your duty. Do you know how rare that is? Everyone wants something from a queen. Power, favor, influence. Everyone except you. I don't belong here, Day-One said. You belong wherever you choose to be, Hieri said. I'm not commanding you to stay. I'm asking you, not as a queen, as a woman who has found something precious and doesn't want to lose it. Before Day-One could respond, alarms blared through the palace. Red lights flashed. Guards ran past his door shouting. Day-One and Hieri ran to the balcony. In the distance, part of the palace was burning. Explosions lit the night. Nari! They both said at once. They ran to her room. It was empty. The window was broken. And on the bed was a message written in glowing letters. The child belongs to us now. Come alone if you want her back. Lord Taeyang, Day-One's blood went cold. Hieri made a sound like a wounded animal. He took her, she whispered. He took my daughter. Day-One grabbed his weapons. Then we get her back. We? Hieri asked. Yes, Day-One said firmly. You're not alone in this. Not anymore. Queen Hieri looked at him, and for the first time since they met, she smiled through her tears. Then let's bring our daughter home. The palace was chaos. Guards ran everywhere, searching for the attackers. Servants hid in locked rooms. Fire control teams fought the blaze, but Day-One ignored all of it. He focused on the message Taeyang left. Come alone if you want her back, Day-One read again. Where would he take her? The old fortress, Queen Hieri said immediately. Her face was pale, but her voice was steady. She was thinking like a ruler, not a panicked mother. It's 20 miles north. Abandoned for decades. Taeyang used it for military training exercises last year. He knows every corridor. Then we need a plan, Day-One said. We can't just walk in. The message says, come alone, one of the royal guards said. He had arrived with a squad all armed. Your Majesty, you cannot go. It's too dangerous. My daughter is there, Hieri said coldly. I'm going. With an army, the guard insisted. We'll surround the fortress, break down the doors, and Taeyang will kill Nari the moment he sees you coming. Day-One interrupted. This is a trap, but it's also a negotiation. He wants something. He wants the throne, Hieri said bitterly. He's wanted it since we were children. But he needed me dead and Nari dead to claim it. The first assassination attempt failed. So now he's trying a different approach. What if we give him what he wants? Day-One asked. Everyone stared at him. Not actually, Day-One clarified. But we make him think we will. Your Majesty, you go to the fortress. Make the negotiation. Keep him talking. Meanwhile, I'll sneak in another way and get Nari out. That's suicide, the guard said. You don't know the fortress. You'll get caught immediately. Maybe, Day-One agreed. But I'm human. Your scanners barely detect me. Your technology is built to find Veltheran life signs, not human ones. I'm invisible to most of your security systems. That's my advantage, Hieri studied him. You've thought about this before? I've thought about a lot of things since I arrived, Day-One admitted, including how to keep Nari safe if something like this happened. You planned for this, Hieri said slowly. You knew Taeyang would make a move. I knew someone would, Day-One said. I just wasn't sure when. The guard started to protest again, but Hieri silenced him with a gesture. We do it Day-One's way. Get me a ship. I'm going to the fortress, and me? Day-One asked. You'll go separately. Take the fastest scout ship we have. Use the canyon approach on the fortress's east side. There's a drainage tunnel that leads inside. It's too small for Veltheran soldiers in armor, but you might fit. Might? Day-One repeated. Hieri almost smiled. It'll be tight. But you're smaller than us. You should make it. 20 minutes later, Day-One was in a small scout ship flying low over the alien landscape. The fortress appeared ahead, dark and menacing against the purple sky. It was built into a cliff face, all stone and metal, designed to withstand sieges. He landed in the canyon and approached on foot. The drainage tunnel was exactly where HFY said it would be. He had to crawl through water and mud, squeezing through spaces barely wide enough for his shoulders. Once he got stuck and thought he might die there, trapped in an alien sewer. But he pushed through. Inside the fortress was dark. Emergency lights cast everything in red. Daewon moved silently, his rifle ready. He had no map, but he followed the layout of military fortresses he knew from Earth. Command center would be central and elevated. That's where Taeyang would be. He was right. Through a grated floor he could see down into a large chamber. Taeyang stood there dressed in full battle armor. Around him were a dozen soldiers, all loyal to him. And in the center, tied to a chair, was Nari. She looked terrified but unharmed. That was good. Then he heard voices. A door opened and Queen HFY entered, alone as instructed. She wore no armor, carried no weapons. She walked with her head high, every inch a queen. "Release my daughter," she demanded. "In time," Taeyang said. "First we negotiate." "There's nothing to negotiate. Let Nari go and I'll show you mercy. Keep her and I'll burn this fortress down around you." Taeyang laughed. "With what army?" "I have supporters everywhere, HFY. In your guard, your court, your military. Half your empire believes you're weak for bringing that human into the palace. They want strong leadership. They want me. They want a tyrant," HFY spat. "They want results," Taeyang corrected. "You've made us weak. Diplomatic when we should be aggressive. You honor peace treaties with inferior species. You waste resources on charity. Under my rule, the Veltheran Empire will expand. We'll take what we deserve." "By killing a child?" HFY asked. "By murdering your own cousin?" "By removing obstacles," Taeyang said coldly. "Step down. Declare me your heir. Then take your daughter and leave the Empire forever. That's my offer. And if I refuse, then Nari dies, you die. And I take the throne anyway with the story that you were both killed by rebels. I'll be the hero who avenges you." Above them, Daewon moved carefully across the grated ceiling. He was directly above Nari now. He could see tears running down her blue cheeks. She was trying so hard to be brave. "Ioma," Nari said quietly. "Don't give up the throne. Don't let him win." Taeyang walked to her and grabbed her face roughly. "Quiet, child, don't touch her," HFY shouted, stepping forward. The guards raised their weapons. Taeyang held up a hand, stopping them. "See, you're ruled by emotion. That's why you're not fit to lead." He released Nari and turned back to the queen. "I'll give you 10 minutes to decide. Stay and rule or leave and live, choose." He walked out, taking most of the guards with him. Only 2 remained, watching HFY and Nari. This was Daewon's chance. He dropped through the grate silently, landing behind the first guard. Before the Veltheran could react, Daewon struck him unconscious. The second guard turned, raising his weapon. Daewon threw his knife. It caught the guard in the shoulder, not fatal, but disabling. The weapon clattered to the floor. "Dae!" Nari cried. Daewon ran to her, cutting her bonds. "Are you hurt?" "No," Nari said. She hugged him tightly. "I knew you'd come. Always," Daewon promised. Queen HFY grabbed the fallen guard's weapon. "We need to move fast. Taeyang will be back any moment." "This way," Daewon said. He led them toward the drainage tunnel. They were almost there when alarms blared. "They know you escaped," HFY said. "Run!" They ran through corridors, Daewon carrying Nari to move faster. Behind them, shouts echoed. Footsteps pounded. Taeyang's voice roared with rage. They reached the tunnel. "You first," Daewon told HFY. She squeezed through, then reached back for Nari. Daewon handed the child over. "Now you," HFY called. Daewon started to crawl in. Then something grabbed his leg. He was yanked backward. He hit the floor hard, his rifle sliding away. Taeyang stood over him, furious. "You," Taeyang snarled. "I should have killed you when you first arrived." He kicked Daewon in the ribs right where he was already injured. Pain exploded through Daewon's chest. He gasped for air. "Dae!" Nari screamed from the tunnel. "Keep going!" Daewon shouted to her. "Get out of here!" Taeyang drew a blade. "You ruined everything, human. You were supposed to die on Earth. You were supposed to be irrelevant. But somehow you became important to them. Well, let's see how important you are when you're dead." He raised the blade, a shot rang out. Taeyang stumbled, a burn mark on his armor. Queen HFY stood at the tunnel entrance, holding the guard's weapon. "Step away from him," she said. Her voice was deadly calm. "Now." "You don't have the nerve," Taeyang said. You've never killed anyone, Hiri. You're too soft. You threatened my daughter, Hiri said. You tried to steal my throne, and now you're going to hurt the man I love. Try me? The last words hung in the air. The man I love, Taeyang's eyes widened. Then he laughed. You love the human? Oh, this is perfect. He never finished. Hiri fired. The blast hit him square in the chest, throwing him backward. His armor cracked. He hit the wall and slid down unconscious. Hiri ran to Daewon. Can you move? Yeah, Daewon wheezed. Nothing broken. I think. She helped him to his feet. They crawled through the tunnel together. Outside, Nari waited with royal ships landing all around. The cavalry had arrived. Secure the fortress, Hiri ordered the guards. Arrest Lord Taeyang and everyone loyal to him. Show no mercy to traitors. The guards saluted and rushed inside. Daewon sat on the ground, catching his breath. Nari climbed into his lap, still shaking. You saved me, she whispered. We saved each other, Daewon said. He looked at Hiri. All of us. Queen Hiri knelt beside them. She took Daewon's hand. What I said in there, about loving you, I meant it. I know, Daewon said. I heard. And? Hiri asked. Daewon smiled despite the pain. I love you too. Both of you. Somewhere along the way, you became my family. Nari looked between them. Does this mean Dae is staying forever? If he wants to, Hiri said, looking at Daewon. Yes, Daewon said without hesitation. I'm staying, Nari cheered. Hiri smiled, brilliant and beautiful, and Daewon realized he had finally found what he lost on Earth. Not just purpose, not just duty, family, love. Home. He was finally where he belonged. The palace healers worked on Daewon for hours. 3 cracked ribs, severe bruising, and muscle damage. They put him in a medical bed that hummed with healing technology. Within a day, he was feeling better. Within 3, he could walk without pain. Nari visited him constantly. She sat beside his bed and told him everything she learned in her lessons. She drew pictures of him fighting Taeyang. She fell asleep in his room more than once, and Hae-Ri had to carry her back to her own chambers. Queen Hae-Ri visited too, but always officially. With guards present, they talked about security upgrades, about the trials of Taeyang's supporters, about repairing the palace. Professional conversations, but Daewon saw how she looked at him when she thought no one noticed, saw the worry in her eyes when he winced in pain, saw her hand start to reach for his, then stop, remembering her position. The words she spoke in the fortress hung between them. The man I love. She had said it in desperation, in anger. Did she mean it? Or was it just something said in the moment? On the 4th day, a servant brought Daewon a message. The queen requested his presence in her private garden that evening. Alone. His heart beat faster. The garden was beautiful. Flowers from a dozen worlds bloomed under a dome that showed the stars. A small stream ran through the center, its water glowing softly blue. Hae-Ri stood beside it, dressed in simple clothes, her silver hair loose. She looked nervous. Daewon had never seen her nervous before. Thank you for coming, she said. You're the queen, Daewon said. When you request, I come. I'm not summoning you as queen, Hiri said. I'm asking you as... She paused. I don't know what we are. Friends? Daewon suggested. Friends, Hiri agreed. Though I hope we might be more. You said you loved me, Daewon said quietly. In the fortress. I did, Hiri confirmed. And I meant it, but saying it was foolish. I'm a queen. You're not Veltherin. The court would never accept you as a consort. It would cause a scandal. I understand, Daewon said. He tried to keep the disappointment from his voice, but, Hiri continued, I don't care. Let the court be scandalized. Let them whisper and complain. You've proven yourself more worthy than any noble in that palace. You saved my daughter twice. You faced Taeyang alone. You've never asked me for anything except the chance to protect those you care about. She stepped closer. I've been a queen my entire adult life, she said. I married once for political alliance. It was cold and loveless. My husband died before Nari was born. I thought I would never feel anything real for anyone. That I was too damaged, too focused on duty. Then you appeared, Hiri said. This stubborn human who wanted nothing from me. Who looked at me and saw a person, not a throne. Who made me laugh. Who made me feel safe. Who loved my daughter without expecting reward. She took his hands. I know it's complicated, she said. I know there will be challenges. But I want to try, if you do. Daewon looked at their joined hands. Human and Veltherin, different but fitting together perfectly. I'm not royal, he said. I don't know how to be a consort or a prince or whatever the title is. I'm just a soldier. I don't need a prince, Hiri said. I need a partner. Someone honest, someone strong, someone who will tell me the truth even when it's hard to hear. Can you be that? Yes, Daewon said. I can. Then be mine, Hiri said. Officially. Let me declare you my chosen consort. Let me make you part of this family in every way. The court will hate it, Daewon warned. The court can adapt, Hiri said firmly. I'm done letting others dictate who I can love. Daewon pulled her closer. Then yes, I'll be yours. If you'll be mine. Always, Hiri whispered. They kissed under the alien stars. It felt like coming home. The announcement came the next morning. Queen Hiri declared before her assembled court that Daewon was her chosen consort, that he would be recognized as Prince Consort and second guardian of Princess Nari, that anyone who objected could bring their concerns directly to her. The court was silent, shocked. Some faces showed disapproval, but many showed acceptance. After all, Daewon had proven himself. He had saved the princess. He had exposed and defeated Taeyang. He had earned his place. Nari was thrilled. Does this mean you're my Appa now? She asked Daewon. If you want me to be, Daewon said. Yes. Nari hugged him. I always wanted an Appa. The weeks that followed were busy. Daewon had to learn protocol, study Veltherin history, attend court functions. It was exhausting and often frustrating. But Hiri was patient. And Nari made everything fun. He also worked with the Royal Guard, improving security. They appreciated his tactical mind, his different perspective. He taught them human combat techniques. They taught him to use Veltherin weapons. One evening, during a formal dinner, a noble asked Daewon a question that had clearly been on everyone's mind. Prince Consort, forgive my boldness, but what do you bring to the throne? You have no lands, no wealth, no political connections. What is your value to our empire? The table went quiet. Hiri's face hardened, ready to defend him, but Daewon answered calmly. You're right. I have no lands or wealth, but I bring something else. I bring loyalty that cannot be bought. I bring love for the queen and princess that has nothing to do with power. And I bring a reminder that worth is not measured by title or birth, but by actions. He looked at the noble directly. I've bled for this family. I've fought for them. I've earned my place here. Can you say the same? The noble had no answer. From that day, fewer people questioned Daewon's position. He was not traditional. He was not what they expected. But he was what the queen chose. And slowly they learned to respect that. 3 months after Taeyang's arrest, Daewon was in the training yard when Hiri found him. We have a problem, she said. Daewon's instincts went on alert. What kind of problem? The Council of Worlds is demanding an explanation, Hiri said. Taeyang was not just my cousin. He was also a military leader, known across the empire. His arrest has created political instability. Some systems are threatening rebellion. They claim I'm becoming a tyrant, eliminating rivals. That's ridiculous, Daewon said. But it's effective, Hiri said wearily. I need to prove that Taeyang was guilty. I need to show evidence to the council. But all the evidence was destroyed in the fortress battle. It's his word against mine. What about the soldiers who served him? Daewon asked. The ones who were there? They're loyal to him. They won't testify. Daewon thought hard. Then we need a different approach. What if Taeyang confesses? Why would he? Hiri asked. He has nothing to gain. But he has something to lose, Daewon said. His pride. His reputation. Let me talk to him. That's dangerous, Hiri said. He'll try to manipulate you. Then I'll be careful, Daewon said. But I have an idea. The prison was deep beneath the palace. Taeyang was held in a cell designed for the most dangerous criminals. Force fields and guards everywhere. When Daewon entered, Taeyang looked up from his bed and laughed. The human comes to gloat, he said. How does it feel sleeping in the queen's bed? I'm not here to gloat, Daewon said calmly. I'm here to make you an offer. Oh? What could you possibly offer me? A chance to save your reputation, Daewon said. Right now you're known as a traitor, a man who tried to kill a child. Historians will remember you as a villain, but it doesn't have to be that way. Taeyang's eyes narrowed. Explain, confess, Daewon said. Admit everything. But frame it as patriotism. Say you thought the queen was weak, that you were trying to save the empire from bad leadership. It won't free you, but it will give you dignity. People will debate whether you are right or wrong, instead of just seeing you as evil. And why would you want that? Taeyang asked suspiciously. Because Hiri needs your confession to stabilize the empire, Daewon said honestly. And because I think even villains deserve some dignity. Taeyang studied him for a long moment. You're a fool, human, soft, weak. Maybe, Daewon agreed. But I won, and you're in a cell. That struck home. Taeyang's face twisted with anger. Then slowly he began to laugh. Fine, I'll confess. Not for you, not for Hiri, but for myself. You're right. History will judge me. Let history know I acted from belief, not malice. Thank you, Daewon said. Don't thank me yet, Taeyang said darkly. You've won this battle, human. But you'll spend the rest of your life fighting. The court will never truly accept you. You'll always be the outsider, the alien, and one day when you're tired and weak, someone will take advantage. They'll hurt Hiri or Nari to get to you. This is the price of loving a queen. I know, Daewon said. But she's worth it. He left the prison. Behind him, Taeyang's laughter echoed through the corridors. Daewon reported back to Hiri. He'll confess. It'll be enough to satisfy the council. How did you convince him? Hiri asked. I appealed to his pride, Daewon said. Even villains want to be remembered well. Hiri kissed him. You're brilliant. Thank you. Always, Daewon said. That night, as they stood on the balcony watching the three moons, Hiri asked, Do you regret it? Staying here? Giving up your quiet life on Earth? No, Daewon said without hesitation. That wasn't a life. It was hiding. This is living. Even with all the politics and danger and stress? Hiri asked. Even with that, Daewon confirmed. Because I have you, and Nari, and a purpose again. Hiri leaned against him. I love you. I love you too, Daewon said. Inside, Nari called for them. Yama, Appa! Come see what I made. They went to her, together, a family, not traditional. The ceremony was held in the Grand Hall. Thousands attended, both in person and through broadcasts across the empire. Representatives from every major world, diplomats from allied species, nobles and commoners alike. Daewon stood at the front, wearing formal Veltharan robes that felt strange on his human body. They were silver and blue, the colors of the royal house. He felt like an imposter. Queen Hiri stood beside him, magnificent in golden armor that seemed to glow. Nari stood between them, holding both their hands, wearing a small crown. A high priest approached. He was ancient, his silver hair almost white. He carried a ceremonial blade and a golden cord. We are gathered, the priest announced, to witness the eternal binding. Queen Hiri, daughter of stars, ruler of Velthara, has chosen her consort. Prince Daewon, guardian of the crown, protector of the air. A human, an outsider, one who has proven himself worthy through deed and sacrifice. The priest turned to Daewon. Do you, Daewon of Earth, accept the eternal bond? Do you swear to protect this family with your life, to serve this empire with your strength, to love the queen and princess above all others? Daewon's throat was dry. This was it, the final commitment. No going back after this. He thought about his old life, the cabin in the mountains, the loneliness, the guilt. He thought about his new life, the palace, the politics, the danger, but most importantly, he thought about Hiri's smile, about Nari's laughter, about belonging somewhere, to someone. I do, Daewon said clearly. The priest took the golden cord and wrapped it around Daewon's wrist, then around Hiri's. Then you are bound. In this life and all lives to come, what is joined here cannot be broken. The crowd erupted in cheers. Music played. Nari hugged both of them, bouncing with excitement. Hiri leaned close to Daewon. No regrets? Not one, Daewon said. The celebration lasted 3 days. There were feasts and dances and ceremonies. Daewon met people from across the empire. Some were welcoming. Some were skeptical. But everyone showed respect. On the final night, after Nari had fallen asleep and the guests had left, Daewon and Hiri finally had a moment alone. They stood on their balcony looking at the stars. It's strange, Daewon said. 6 months ago I was alone on a mountain. Now I'm a prince consort on an alien world. Do you miss Earth? Hyri asked. Sometimes, Daewon admitted. I miss the simplicity. But I don't miss the loneliness. You could visit, Hyri said. Now that you're officially family, you have access to royal ships. You could go back anytime you want. Maybe someday, Daewon said. But not yet. My place is here now with you. With Nari, Hyri smiled. She calls you Appa now. All the time. Even in formal settings. It drives her tutors crazy. Good, Daewon said. She should have a father. Every child should. You've given her something I never could, Hyri said. A normal childhood. Despite everything, despite the politics and danger, when she's with you, she's just a little girl. Happy, carefree. That's all I want for her, Daewon said. They were quiet for a moment. Taeyang said something to me, Daewon said finally. In prison. He said that loving you would make me a target. That people would use Nari and you to hurt me. That I'd spend my life fighting. He's probably right, Hyri said carefully. I won't lie to you, Daewon. Being part of the royal family means being in danger. Always. I know, Daewon said, but it's worth it. You're worth it. We'll face it together, Hyri promised. Whatever comes. You, me, and Nari, a family. A family, Daewon repeated. He liked the sound of that. Years passed. Daewon grew into his role. He learned to navigate court politics, though he never enjoyed it. He preferred spending time with the royal guard, improving security systems, or teaching Nari self-defense. Nari grew from a frightened child into a confident young girl. She studied hard, trained harder, and inherited both her mother's strength and her father's determination. She called herself half-human, even though she wasn't, because she wanted to honor Daewon. Queen Hyri ruled wisely and well. With Daewon beside her, she felt stronger. His honest advice, his different perspective helped her make better decisions. The empire prospered. There were threats, of course. Assassination attempts. Political rivals, rebellions, but every time Daewon was there protecting, fighting, surviving, he got scars, more injuries. But he also got something he never had before. Purpose. Love. Home. One day when Nari was 12 years old, she asked Daewon a question. Appa, do you ever wish you were back on Earth, living your quiet life? They were in the training yard. Nari had just beaten him in a practice match. She was getting good. Daewon thought about it. Sometimes I think about it, he admitted. Wonder what my life would be like if I'd never found your crashed ship. Do you wish you hadn't? Nari asked nervously. No, Daewon said firmly. Never. Finding you was the best thing that ever happened to me. You gave me a second chance, a new family, a reason to live instead of just existing. I'm glad you found me, Nari said. She hugged him. You're the best Appa in the universe. I'm the only Appa in the universe, Daewon joked. That just makes it easier to be the best, Nari said. That evening, Hyri asked Daewon to walk with her through the gardens. They often did this, stealing quiet moments together between royal duties. Nari will be 13 soon, Hyri said. She'll start formal princess training, learning to rule, to lead, to make decisions that affect billions. She'll be great at it, Daewon said. She has your wisdom and my stubbornness. Hyri laughed. A dangerous combination. They stopped by the glowing stream where Hyri had first confessed her love years ago. Thank you, Hyri said suddenly. For what? Daewon asked. For staying. For loving us. For being exactly what we needed. She took his hand. I was so alone before you came. Carrying the weight of the empire by myself. Raising Nari alone. I never realized how heavy the burden was until you helped me carry it. We carry it together, Daewon said. That's what family does. Yes, Hyri agreed. Family. She kissed him under the alien stars, and Daewon thought about how far he had come. From a broken soldier hiding in the mountains to a prince consort of an empire. From loneliness to love. From failure to purpose. All because he refused to ignore a crashed ship. All because he chose to protect a frightened child. The smallest choices, he realized, could change everything. Later that night, Daewon stood in Nari's doorway watching her sleep. She was getting older, but she still looked so young. So innocent. I promise, he whispered. I will always protect you. I will always be here. No matter what comes. Behind him, Hyri appeared. She wrapped her arms around him. She knows, Hyri said softly. She's always known. You're her hero. I'm just a soldier, Daewon said. No, Hyri corrected. You're a father, a husband, a guardian. You're exactly what you need to be. They stood together watching Nari sleep, a human and a Veltharan queen, parents to an alien princess, a family that should not exist by any logic. But here they were, together, strong, unbreakable. The next morning brought a visitor, an ambassador from Earth. Day one had not seen another human since leaving his homeworld. The man was nervous, overwhelmed by the palace. His name was Jinwoo, a diplomat sent to establish formal relations between Earth and the Veltharan Empire. Prince Consort, Jinwoo said, bowing awkwardly. It's an honor. You're famous on Earth, the human who married an alien queen. There are books about you, movies. You're a legend. Daewon was surprised. I didn't know anyone cared. Are you kidding? You've changed everything. Because of you, Earth is being taken seriously by galactic powers. Species that ignored us before are now curious. You've shown that humans can stand equal to anyone. I'm just one person, Daewon said. You're a symbol, Jinwoo said. You represent what humanity can achieve. Adaptability, courage, love that transcends species. Daewon showed Jinwoo around the palace, introduced him to Hyeri and Nari, watched as the ambassador's eyes widened at the technology, the beauty, the power of the Veltharan Empire. How did you do it? Jinwoo asked later when they were alone. How did you go from a mountain hermit to this? I stopped running, Daewon said. I stopped hiding from responsibility. I started protecting what mattered instead of fearing failure. And the queen? How did you win her heart? Daewon smiled. I didn't try to win anything. I just did the right thing. Protected her daughter. Was honest. Treated her like a person, not a throne. The rest happened naturally. Jinwoo left 3 days later with trade agreements and cultural exchange programs. But before he departed, he said something that stuck with Daewon. You've given Earth hope. Shown us we have a place in the galaxy. Thank you for that. After he left, Hyeri asked, Do you miss it? Being human? Being with your own kind? I am human, Daewon said. That doesn't change. But I'm also Veltharan now. Part of this world. Part of this family. I can be both. Good, Hyeri said. Because I'm not letting you go. Good, Daewon echoed. Because I'm not leaving. Time continued its march forward. Nari became a teenager, then a young woman. Smart, strong, compassionate. Everything a future queen should be.